I didn't see you there. But while you're here, I've got a few things to tell you. We're going to add integers today. The first thing we're going to notice is that there's a plus sign with two different numbers. We have to check their signs, and we're going to make counters for the numbers that we have. Since we have 8 negatives, we're going to make 8 negative counters. And we have 3 positives, so we're going to make 3 positive counters. Because they're different signs, we're going to neutralize common pairs, and we're going to make a 0 pair out of those. When we finish, we notice that we have 5 negatives left. Now we're going to look at it on the number line. We first have -8, so we're going to start at 0 and move to the -8. That's our first number. Then we're going to go towards the positives 3 spaces. So I'm going to make my new line, and I'm going to go towards the positives 3 spaces. And if you look, that lands me at -5. These two parts are neutralizing, so the only part of the line I have left is -5. Yes, you have a question?
What if they're the same sign?
I'm glad you asked. Here's another thing you need to know. If the signs are the same, we're still going to do the same skill. We're adding, we have 3 negatives and 2 negatives. So I'm still going to use my counters. Here's 3 negatives. Here's 2 negatives. But since we can't make a 0 pair, we're just going to join them together. And if we look, it looks like we have 5 negatives. On the number line, that looks just a little bit different, but we're still going to start at 0. We're going to move to -3 on our first line. It says we're going to move towards our negative 2 spaces. So if I'm here and I move towards my -2 spaces, I'm still going to land at -5.
Hey guys, I'm going to teach you about subtraction today. So today we're going to do a subtraction problem, but first thing we need to do is realize that this is subtraction, not addition of integers. So we can't use the rule yet, but as a rule can teach you. We can do keep, change, change. So for each part of this, I'm going to follow the rule and say, okay, I'm going to keep this first value as -8. I'm going to change the subtraction to addition, and then change 4 to its additive inverse of -4. Now I can use my integer addition rules. Are these two the same sign or different? So because they're the same, we can add these two together, get 8 plus 4, which gives us 12, and we keep our negative sign. So here's another example for you, but this time we got subtracting the negative number. Now one common misconception we have, or thing we kind of do, is that we see these parentheses and we freak out. There's nothing to freak out about, guys. These aren't absolute value symbols, these are just what we call grouping symbols. Meaning that we're just doing this to organize our information just a little bit better. So when we have -6, take away a -3, we can apply the same rules we just did on our other problem by doing keep, change, and change. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to circle -6. So now I'm going to keep that value. I'm going to change subtraction to addition. And then I'm going to change the -3 to its additive inverse, which is, you got that right, it's 3. Now, because these are different signs, I'm going to find the difference of these values to get 3. Now, in this clip of our war, though, who's going to win this? The negatives or the positives? I think it's going to be the negatives because they have more absolute value than that 3 does. So our final answer is -3.
One more sting before you go. We just remembered one more way that we add integers. Since this is an adding problem, we talked a lot about allies or enemies or being on the same team or being on different teams. So let's see what that looks like in a problem. When we look at this -2 and this +5, are they on the same team or different teams? Are they allies or are they enemies? Since the signs are different, they don't work well together. So instead of putting them together, they're going to fight against each other. And in this case, since we have more positives, our final answer is going to be positive. Since they fight against each other, they're going to make 0 pairs. And if we have 5 positives and 2 negatives, my positives win by 3. Let's look at it on another problem. We're adding, so we're going to play allies or enemies, or we can think, are they on the same team or are they on different teams? Since they're both negatives, they're on the same teams. Or we can think of them as their allies, so they're going to work well together. So we've got 3 negatives and 7 negatives, and because they are going to stay on the same team and be allies, we're going to join those together and have 10, but they're going to stay negatives.